time for Book of Experts TV.
Topics you love.
Experts you trust.
Friction-free referrals.
Tried,
tested,
Trusted.
This is Book of Experts, brought to you by salesman.me. Great. So welcome back to the Book of Experts show. Today's episode is going to be near and dear to my heart because we're actually going to be talking about our own project. And I want to introduce my guest for today, Yone, who is joining us from Sofia, Bulgaria. Welcome, Yone. I'm super excited to have you on.
Hello, I'm super excited as well.
We're going to be talking about Book of Experts. We're going to talk about two things, to be honest with you. We'll talk about Yone's work, his company, his agency, Softadev, but we're going to start with his impact, the work that he's been doing, because Yone and his team are the ones who built the new Book of Experts directory. Now, if you haven't seen this, you may be seeing the live stream. We're on Facebook right now. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. So if you're seeing the video and you don't know what I'm referring to, click on over to bookofexperts.com after we're done and check it out, because Yone, you've been getting rave reviews for the work that you guys have done. The design is really unique. A lot of people who saw it said, wow, this is cool. I really like this. But we're going to talk about what you've been doing behind the scenes, what they haven't seen yet, that really makes it a cool project. But let's talk for a second, Yone. What is the work that you do? Because it's far beyond the big impact that you made with Book of Experts.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So what we do is not the regular website design process and website design. We don't just do websites. What we're focused on is on building custom web solutions, and by that it means custom web application, just like Book of Experts, custom lead generation tools that save time or increase the revenue, everything that's interesting, bring results, and it's not do-it-yourself solution like using page builders and all that.
Yeah, when Yone and I first connected, and I was understanding, his story and the talents that he has in his agency, it really became clear that, we started with a website conversation, but it's really so much more than that, because if you need a platform, if you need lead generation, if you need, chat bots or some of this customized functionality, they have the ability to do that in-house and create a solution of what you need, not just taking something off the shelf. And I've done, in my work as a digital marketer, I've done a number of projects for myself and clients. So building dozens of different website projects, everything from the $25 a month, Wix or Squarespace website, to something like Book of Experts, which was custom developed, where Yone and his team actually had to. It's not on WordPress. It's not, one of those platforms that you always hear about to manage. It is its own custom website where they built the admin backend, and not everyone needs that, but there are reasons why. And actually, Yone, maybe you'll give us some perspective on why a custom developed solution can sometimes be a much better fit for what someone wants to accomplish.
Sure. Yeah, actually, that's a question. That's a very good question, because it's very reasonable to ask, why don't we use WordPress, or why don't we use something that already exists? And the answer is actually pretty simple most of the time, and that's it, because you cannot really use one solution for everything and expect to bring the results. And having something built, custom built, we will first of all really connect more to your audience and solve the actual problem that you're trying to solve, not really kind of work, but actually do it in the exact proper way that it should be done. And also the other thing is that we can really optimize and make sure that it brings the results that were really needed and the people were searching for.
Yeah, so Yone and I have had we've had a number of fun conversations because I often push him on this, and I'll say things like, well, why should we create this from scratch if there is a WordPress that will work, or if there is there's all kind of blogging solutions, search solutions. We talk about this from a technical perspective all the time. And we tease that question back and forth. Does it make sense to buy something off the shelf, out of the box, like just the basic version that everybody is using, and customize that? And in some cases, that does make sense. And in other cases, it really doesn't. And so the benefit for us has been a really beautiful, fast, and effective website, which I think is really unique in the space. That's what we're most excited about, because we didn't try to recreate LinkedIn. People don't need another LinkedIn. It's there. It does a great job for what it is. It's a huge network and very beneficial to folks who are doing business in the business space and want to connect online or on the web. We're not trying to create another Facebook. And yet we found a couple, we call them use cases, the referral circle and the value ladder aspects of this directory that we couldn't find anywhere else. We didn't see anyone else doing it like this. And so I want to show something, because I think I have a really good example that I thought demonstrates your creativity, Yone, something that you did that surprised me. And I want to show this to folks out there, because I think this will be pretty cool for them to understand as well. So I'm going to screen share for a second, because I actually want to show Book of Experts. And again, this is Yone and his team who built this. We've been in meetings, and this happened very quickly from the time that he and I discussed this as a project to when we actually launched it. It was like 3 weeks. I don't know if you guys can always work that fast, but it was really fun to see this come online. And you can see it's a beautiful design. Like it's unique, it's creative. It doesn't look like any other site that I've seen out there. The response that we get from people when they look at this is like, oh, this is really cool. Like, you guys have done a great job. And Yone and his team, they deserve a lot of credit, because they've really done something special here. And you can see we've got all these different categories that our experts are able to be found and known for. They work hard for their areas of specialty. A lot of them have certifications, and they've spent years becoming experts in their field. So it just makes sense that they would be found for these areas. But what I wanted to show you, one of the really unique things, and this, I give Yone full credit on this, because this was his solution. We were talking about this idea of Book of Experts is invitation only. So we don't want just anyone coming and being able to access this and get set up. We want to know that they truly are experts in their space. And so Yone was the one who made this suggestion. We use our sign-in process through LinkedIn credentials. And this is important because you don't have to remember a special password for Book of Experts. If you come back to Book of Experts and you haven't been here for a while, you're just using, like, people who use LinkedIn, our members tend to go there quite often. So it's easy for them to sign in. But what I want to call your attention to is this thing called the secret key. Yone, do you want to talk to us a little bit about why you came up with this process and sort of how this worked? How did you do this? How did you creatively come up with this idea? Because it's pretty cool in how it works behind the scenes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll start with a small part of our process and what we do and how we do it. And when we build solutions, it can be websites or more complex web solutions like this one. We don't really first get what the client wants only, but we do a research and we try to always come up with strategic suggestions there, because I think having the custom solution, it's not always enough, because something can be custom but still cannot be good enough. So that's the reason why we do a research and use our experience, like, for the past 7 years, to figure out what we can add on top of the things that you think that in the client wants, so it can bring even greater results. And that's how actually we came up with the secret key idea, because we wanted to make it simple, saving time and making it usable and really easy for the members is the key for Book of Experts.
Yeah, I think you really came on something special here, because what's happening behind the scenes is Yone showed us a way to match up. The secret key is a one-time use URL, so people use it one time. You don't have to save it. You can forget about it. But that first time of using that link allowed us to connect up with the right people who should be coming into the Book of Experts. No one else can use that link. If someone else got the link by accident and tried to access the book, it wouldn't work for them. So it really is a secret key that allows them to open the door into this Book of Experts experience that we've been building. And people who use it, they're like, oh, this is so key. This is so cool. It makes them feel pretty special. And Yone, I thought you'd appreciate this. I wanted to show this on the screen. So here's one of the comments that came in while we were chatting here. This is Kat Stancic said, woohoo, powerhouse peeps in the house. So I thought that was kind of fun. You get a kick out of saying that. So tell us a little bit more about some of the other unique aspects that you've been building here, because you guys really have taken it to another level with this project alone.
Yeah. Well, I think the overall the success of the platform comes from different things combined together, from different custom solutions, and also implementing what we can see on the market as best practices. So everything starting from the design to the development of key elements, the user experience, it's part of our process. And when we started, we had the design ready. And after that, we come up with, as we develop things, we discuss. Always we do, from your experience, we always can keep contact and exchange messages there. So as every day passed on, we just try to see what can be improved in terms of user experience, implementing it, for example, the search functionality, improving the algorithms, improving the speed. So it's a very complex process, combining different aspects, but the key elements here were unique functionality, very easy to use, outstanding design, which is creative and still professional, and also, part of user experience is good optimizations, having a secure website, having a very fast website, implementing functionalities, and smooth transitioning to loadings and all that. It's part of the whole experience that most people don't really notice. It's just they just see that it's cool, but we had to build it from scratch, most of that.
Yeah, it's really been a great experience for us to develop this with you, really, because you've been so on top of the way I would describe this, Yone, is that we had an objective in mind of what we wanted to accomplish, and you listened to us. Then you brought new solutions to the table, including anticipating some needs that we hadn't even realized ourselves. And so that combination of working back and forth allowed us to accomplish what I think is a really unique and special project in a fairly short timeline, that really impressed people, that we were able to bring this online so quickly. I want to go back to the screen sharing again for a moment, because I want to show people, I actually want to log in and show people what this looks like on the back end. So you're not seeing the secret key experience that I mentioned before, because I'm already a user, but oops, let me get in on the right account here. Once you log in, this is actually my account on the back end. And you can see we have a progress bar. Yone and the team built gamification into the platform. So people, when you first log on, it's not 100%, right? So you're able to sort of build out your profile. Folks who are familiar with LinkedIn have seen this before, and we incorporated that over here to really show people how to be on track. We have this idea of offers. You can have up to 5 offers. And that's a really key part, because it allows people to build out their value ladder, the doorways that people use to enter their world and start working with the experts. Sometimes it's a lead magnet, sometimes it's a signature program, or some level in between. So we think this is really unique, that the idea of the value ladder, and Yone, was able to help us create a process so that we could structure that and allow people to, if I want to tell folks about Yone, I can say, well, visit him on Book of Experts, and you can see his offers that he's putting out. Here's how you can enter his world, including a strategy session where he'll sit down with you and hear what you're trying to accomplish and figure out, does it make sense to try to do something together. We have this concept of the referral circle, which you can see mine here with, folks. Here are folks that I'm willing to refer or have checked off and said they're willing to refer me. And then one of the things that we did recently, Yone actually helped us build in a process to basically add to your referral circles with suggestions. So these are suggested new members, because if you're an expert out there and you've been invited to the Book of Experts, you may know other folks who should also be listed here. They're probably people that you're already referring. So he helped us create this system here. And what's really nice about this is when you fill in, give us a little bit of information about someone who should be listed in Book of Experts, the system doesn't, it's not automated so that it triggers a bunch of messages and just starts, harassing them with, spammy messages saying, hey, come join Book of Experts. And we actually reach out to them personally and say, hey, Yone told me about you and the work that you're doing. Seems like you'd be a great fit. It's very personalized, very white glove treatment for anyone that you would suggest. So the whole thing, I think, is just, really well done. You've helped us integrate a blog experience, and we're starting to build out content like this one, the interview that we're doing today. We're just super excited about what you've helped us do here, you and your whole team. I want to give credit to the team, because I know you've got folks in the agency that are working hard behind the scenes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it is a very exciting project as we continue the development of the project. It's very exciting, and it has future. And that's actually, if I have to describe what kind of work we do, that's the more the kind of work we do. We don't really rely on that interesting projects that can help people, because we don't agree to work on projects and solutions that we know that are not going to work at all from our experience. And having that in that project, Book of Experts, I think it has a huge potential since it's very useful.
Do you mind if I tell the story about how you and I connected, Yone? Because I think this might be instructive for folks out there. You have a really interesting story about the work that you were doing before, how we connected, and how it's just, this Book of Experts is like a perfect example of why working with you and your agency could take things to a new level for someone. Is it okay with you if I share a little bit of that background?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so Yone and I first connected because he was doing outreach. He was doing his own outreach on LinkedIn, and that's something that we actually do as part of our work. Have been doing it for a while, and I do workshops. We have the folks who know me know about the work that we do with Sales Map and building out sales teams. Truthfully, the first message that you sent, Yone, I was kind of teasing you a little bit, because I know you were at that time using a less personal and more automated approach, but I could see something in you. I thought it was, really interesting, and I wanted to converse with you a little bit, and my exchanges were playful. But I think, after you did our workshop, you saw that there's a way to reach out to people who are a good fit. Like I believe, I don't want to speak for you, but I think your process before was get a lot of connections and see who will converse with you. And we've kind of flipped that script for you now that you're conversing with people before the connections, right? Is that a fair way of describing it?
Right. Yeah. I gone through I can say big change and huge change with the process that I now connect the prospects. And also that helped me, because the approach that you suggested there, that you taught me to do, that it's more like personalized, and actually it's very personalized, and it's a very smooth approach, and that helped me also figure out how and what I can be really helpful with. it really helped me find out what's my more like what are my superpowers that I can use and reach out to people. So I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, your approach it plays to your strengths, and now you're able to start conversations with really interesting prospects. And then the other big shift in that work is that you were doing smaller website projects for folks like English as a second language schools, or even some life coaches that like that was one type of project. But I think it was through those conversations with some of these people that you realize there's this much bigger, I'm going to call it specialized need, where a custom project is a much better fit. And honestly, Book of Experts is one example of that. But you have the ability to do these custom projects in a number of areas and pull in. Maybe it's a chatbot that someone needs on their website, being able to customize that experience so that the website becomes not just a brochure, but actually a part of their sales and marketing, that it's actively bringing lead generation and sales qualification into the picture.
Yeah, I am. And yeah, something I learned that conversations lead to great things. Talking authentically with more people will lead to understanding better, more about yourself and your prospects. So before we met it was 3 months ago or 2 months ago. Don't actually. I think it was 2 months ago, approximately. So before that, we were doing also custom projects. We actually have finished two startups, and it was two MVPs for two startups there, and also another project for a payment solution. So we were doing some custom web development, but as the time passed, and we just, I mean personally, I couldn't really find it. When I was talking to people, I couldn't really communicate properly, so I can explain what we do, because we knew, and we had also finished projects in the past that were complex and interesting, but the problem was I couldn't really find how I can connect and really explain that to the people that I'm talking to.
Yeah, that is one of my coaches calls this the expert's curse, and it's not just you, Yone. It's all of us, because we love the work that we do. We pour ourselves into it. We built years of training and expertise to be able to do the work that we do. We're too close to it. We're very close to the work, and so sometimes it takes somebody else who can step back, look at it with beginner's eyes, so to speak, or outside perspective on things, and they can actually describe what we do and the impact that we make and the superpowers that we bring to that experience. They can describe it better than we can ourselves, because we've started to take things for granted. And that was very true with you, that we looked at folks that you can make an impact for, and in this world that we're in today, if you're in the business space, you need a website, and you need to be able to function online more than ever, because of what's happened with the global pandemic. People are shifting and becoming more virtual, more on the web. But there's a wide range of what those projects might look like, and someone with your skill set and your team skill set to be able to create that higher end, higher level experience and do custom coding and create something that is bespoke. Or if you want to use the kitchen analogy, like, you can buy, cookie dough from the grocery store and you can make cookies, or you can make cookies or bread from scratch, and you're doing the scratch version, and you have the ability to know what is going to be the right mixture and recipe that's going to be a great experience for everyone involved.
Yeah, and continue with that kitchen thing. Yeah, I think we're building it from scratch allows you after that to continue with something, expand, even build cook a cake and something bigger and bigger and bigger, not just end up with many cookies that aren't the thing that you're looking for.
So let's talk for a second about your process, because I know you want to be able to, if someone has a project that they want to develop, they have most likely an idea at this point. Maybe they've even tried to develop this into a website. They did a WordPress theme or something like that, and it just wasn't working for them. what does it look like? How would you want them to enter your world, and so like what would this process look like?
Yeah, sure. The process is it's simple. It's a four-step process. The first thing that we start with is also if someone wants to get started, he can contact me. And first thing that we do is have a strategic discussion about the thing that he wants to get accomplished. There we discuss his goals, what he wants, what the clients want to achieve, and if he has anything in mind, how he would like to achieve that. For example, with you said that you need something like the directory, and you had something in mind, and we discuss that. We have a discussion and see if what we do can help, and if we believe that the idea can really bring results. And that's the key element, because if we don't think that that won't work, that if we think that this is going to fail or it's not going to get any results, I'll probably suggest and tell that to the client, and we will not start the project. But if that's something that we think that it's interesting and has potential there, we then schedule another call where we discuss the ideas, what can be added on top of that. But before that call, we actually do a research on the market and see any innovative ideas or something that we can suggest to the client, and so it even makes a complete solution. And that's being done also in a free call. It's not part of the actual process. It's actually before the client pays the first part. But that happens in the first step in the strategic discussion. But of course, we do a research only if we think that it's a good fit. And after that, we create that. The second step is we do planning. We plan development and the design development and how we're going to deploy that. And there we prepare the exact time that it's going to take, the budgets, if we need any resources, and for example, photos from the client, videos, all that. And this is the planning phase. And after that, we just start developing the process. And we constantly keep contact with the client, so we know that we're stay on the same page, because we don't want in the end, even if the solution in our opinion is good, we don't want the client to be surprised and receive something that he's never wanted to. So we think that constantly communicating always helps get better solutions, because as also, for example, with Book of Experts, in our case, even if we suggest some great things, when we communicate with you and you give feedback and we both discuss things, we end up with a great solution. Even if it means that we implement something that wasn't discussed in the initial planning. I'm a strong believer that great applications and great web solutions aren't being done in one step, and they're not just I will do A, B, C, and that's it. I think that's a constant process of improving and adding new features based on feedback from our discussions and feedback from other people as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that the users dictate what they need, and creating something really useful that people will use and find helpful is the key. And for us, Book of Experts has really become something even more than what we originally imagined. So when I approached Yone, my request was, we need a directory for our members of the group. At the time, there was no Book of Experts. We were actually running the Expert Referral Network, which was a group on LinkedIn. We had over 500 members, and they needed a way to find each other quickly by their area of expertise. So we started with the concept of a directory, but I think it is becoming so much more, and we adopted the Book of Experts branding because it just felt like a great fit. And Yone, I wanted to show you this one as well. Diego shared Book of Experts page. The layout is great. Looks awesome. So we hear this a lot when we do demos, when we're introducing new members, new experts into the directory and setting them up with their secret key. We've been just getting a lot of great feedback on the functionality, the look, the design, and again, kudos to you and your team to bringing that to fruition. Yone, you are in the Book of Experts, so if folks want to look you up, they can find you there as well. how else should they reach out to you if they have questions, if they want to sit down with you for one of these strategy sessions to see if they might be a fit for your team? What would that look like?
They can just go on Book of Experts and type Yone Marino. They can type my name, or in there they can see my LinkedIn profile, and also I put a link to the contact form of our agent's website. So they can either go on Book of Experts and type my name, or LinkedIn. I will appear. So LinkedIn or Book of Experts, both of these works. So
yeah, we definitely encourage folks to, Book of Experts is open to the public to search. So try it out. Like come over and Yone mentioned you can find him by his name. You can find him by his area of expertise. Little tip for anyone who forgets, like if you're thinking of who's that guy? I can't remember his name. Scroll down to the bottom of the Book of Experts website, because Softadev is actually listed in the footer. You can actually see a link there and connect up with Yone that way. So Yone, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time today to talk about the behind the scenes work with Book of Experts. We're really proud of you and the whole team there. Please pass that along to your full team that we've been getting rave reviews. You have brought your creativity as well as your technical skill to the project and your attention. I think you've gone above and beyond. We feel that difference. The users are feeling it, and we just really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think we can continue and really make the Book of Experts even a greater and bigger project and something outstanding.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Book of Experts show, and hopefully you'll join us. We're all the time bringing in and spotlighting our experts from the community. It's for experts by experts, talking about the work that they're doing, the impact they're making, and the transformation that is needed in the world. And I say needed because there are a lot of folks out there. It's a strange world that we're experiencing today. It looks different than it did even a couple months ago. And it's never been a better time for folks to bring their genius, their superpowers forward and share their expertise with the world. So with that said, Yone, I appreciate you. We're going to wrap up. We'll go into our outro and finish things up.
Okay, thanks.